Hi, Scott Stork with Polaris Law Group, estate planning and elder law attorneys here in St. Charles, Missouri. Today I want to talk to you about how to plan if your kids don't get along. So you would be probably not surprised that this is a question that we get quite a bit. So before we get started, I want to let you know that you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the button at the bottom and subscribe so that you don't miss any of our videos. And I want to remind you that you can always call our office at 636-757-3850 or visit our website at polarisplans.com if you need more help or information. So what happens if your kids don't get along? How do we do estate planning? So a few things to really keep in mind with this. You are not required to leave anything to your kids. I tell every potential client the same thing. Money is not an absolute for kids to inherit. So if one of your kids is not good to you, you should feel no obligation to leave things to them. If it's just that your kids don't get along with one another, that's a little bit different story. One of the big things that we want to avoid when we're doing estate planning where our kids don't get along is in any way putting one of them in control of another. So we have clients who create trusts many times. They create powers of attorney, things like that. When kids inherit, a lot of times through our planning, they will inherit in a trust in a way that protects kids from the outside world. Sometimes we need to protect the kids from themselves because we're afraid they're going to waste the money. The number one instruction that we tell clients is do not make one of your kids the trustee of another kid's inheritance. That is a way to create more drama. Even if your kids get along, do not put one kid in charge of another kid's money. There are better ways to deal with that. There are others that you can name as a trustee. So if we create a protective trust for your beneficiaries to protect them from divorces, lawsuits, bad business decisions, they get into financial trouble, or we create it to protect them from themselves because you're afraid that they're going to buy a new Maserati, we can actually create a trust that doesn't pit the kids against one another. So number one instruction is keep your kids' money separate from the other kids when you leave the inheritance. And that is a hallmark of how we plan. The other thing to be concerned about is not creating rifts or causing hurt feelings because you've named one kid as a trustee for you if you become disabled, or named that kid as the trustee to help administer the trust after you die, or named one of the kids as your power of attorney to help you make legal and financial decisions or make healthcare decisions for you. What I tell clients is don't feel under any obligation to try and mix and match and put kids in so everybody has a job. Typically, the kid who maybe isn't ready or isn't suitable to do a certain job for you knows that. So some kids have different skill sets than others. Some of them are much better equipped to make legal and financial decisions than they are to have to make end-of-life or healthcare decisions, and vice versa. Sometimes we want to maybe take a couple of kids who get along and name them as co-trustees over a trust for a parent if they become disabled, because that is a big job for a kid if they have to be the trustee. So a lot of what we do in estate planning is uncovering and talking about the skills that your kids have so that we can put them in the right position for your benefit. The other thing we can do, especially when we have families who already tenuously get along or don't get along, is to do what we call a family meeting. And that is not always with the kids together, but what it is a meeting where we set the expectations with them and you about what things will be like if something does happen. Because for many families, the thing that holds the kids and the family together is the parents. They are the common denominator, and when there is an issue where a parent passes, becomes disabled, things like that, then all of a sudden the family can fracture. But if we do a family meeting, if we set those expectations and really give them some roadmap at the beginning while you're still there, it really can make that end time a lot easier for them, and it's not going to create as much heartache and drama and bring out some of those old wounds and things like that that may be there than if we didn't do that at all. So it's very important to set up the plan correctly, work with an estate planner who can help you navigate some of these things to make sure that the family's prepared, and also to understand that setting up the plan in one spot in your life does not mean that that's the way the plan should be for the rest of your life. So things change in your life. These estate plans, when we set them up, need to be reviewed and looked at on a fairly regular basis, because I can almost guarantee you're going to have changes in your life that are going to necessitate making changes to your estate plan. And that could be that while you didn't get along with one of your kids at one point in time, that doesn't mean you won't later. If your kids are not getting along together at one point in time, that doesn't mean that they won't come back in the fold together. Life is not static and life changes, so we want to make sure that we are able to change your estate plan at the same time. So there's lots of considerations when we have kids that have interpersonal relationships, when we have families that don't get along. We still can actually do very, very good estate planning with you, and you shouldn't be afraid to plan just because that's where your situation lies. So I hope this was helpful. Again, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give us a call, 636-757-3850, or visit our website at polarisplans.com. Again, I'm Scott Stork, and I hope this was helpful. Thank you.